Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Cassie.
Thanks for meeting with me today to talk about your article about emotion.
I am super excited to be here.
I have to tell you that since I prepared for this article, it's probably been 3 months since I first read your article, and I have thought about your article so many times. So I am super excited to jump in and share that information with the people watching.
I love that. I love that. Let's do it. Let's share it.
Awesome. So you draw attention to the fact that society feels very divided about emotions, and not just society, but like also the church. Like, you hear these different things like you have to trust the feelings that you're given. And on the other side, you hear feelings are not trustable. Or you hear like, pull up your bootstraps, shove that emotion down because we got things to do. So what do you say? Are emotions good? Are they bad? Do we trust them? Do we ignore them? Do we overcome them? Where do you land with that?
Right. Oh, that's so true. It doesn't matter who you talk to, everyone's going to have such a divided view or experience of emotions in society and emotions within themselves. And I don't think
Mm.
anything is ever all good or all bad. I think it's on a spectrum. So to answer that, I think I would rather say they are good, they are healthy, they are appropriate
Okay.
at times, and they're also, keyword and, they're also incredibly inconvenient and
Mm.
confusing, right? And heavy and complicated and fun. They are all
Mm.
the things with and between them.
That's a lot of things to hold at the same time.
Now we know why people don't like them.
We have to land in one camp so that we can make a decision about it and then not feel the discomfort of the complication of it, at least in theory. I think that maybe causes some additional trouble.
Right. That's why I think I like the word emotions are healthy because
Mm.
there's a lot of things we might not love in life, but they're still healthy. They're still good. They're still appropriate. And so there's a lot to be said about those emotions and what we do with them, but they are healthy, not good, not bad. They're healthy, and God gave them to us.
Mm.
So we have them whether we want them or not.
Yes, yes, yes. We want the good ones and we don't want the bad ones, the hard ones, maybe. Uh, but yeah, I love that idea that they're all healthy and they have purpose for us because God doesn't do things that are not purposeful. So you were sharing about having folks, that you're seeing as clients, and they're talking about their stories, and you can see this emotion coming up in them, and then they're stuffing it down. And when you are talking to them about it, you're like, why are you why are you like, let's let that come up. Why are you um, pushing it away? Why don't you want it to come up? And you know people say things like it's uncomfortable, or I don't know, does it even matter? And so I want to ask, like, does it matter?
I think there's a time and a place that's a little bit nuanced, but um, I think it's important to understand the motive. Why are we pushing them down? And is
Mm.
that purpose important? Because my husband's in the army. If anyone's ever seen my bio or knows me or worked with me, you'll know that. So I'm very familiar with people who have to go into the line of fire, people who are soldiers, people who are policemen and women and firefighters. For them, yeah, maybe suppressing an emotion, pushing it down, there's a time and a place for that. And I want to respect that part
Yeah,
and that motive for saying, I've got to be strong, I've
yeah,
got to be focused. But then there's a time and a place to turn it off or to let it override and to come online when we go home with our families and our loved ones, or we need to have good self-care or make decisions about things in life. So I think there's a time and a place, but to just once again say it's all bad or all pointless is really costing us the
mm.
opportunity to feel so much more and to be more aware in life.
Mm. Feeling more when we're used to keeping a tight lid on feelings.
Mhm.
Sounds scary.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely can be. I wouldn't want to lie about that. That for some people that's right, uncomfortable, or they didn't grow up in a family that practiced that or promoted that. I've got clients that often will say, "Ugh, I was upset about something and I was called the grumpy child." Right. Or I've got
Mm,
people who maybe they just did the best they could, but let's be real, none of us had the class in high school or in elementary school that taught us about our feelings. So we've had to figure it out
mm,
as we go based on our own personal experiences. And I can't blame the person who
yeah.
wants to stuff all that down because crying too much gives them a headache, right? It's a very valid
Yes.
thing. And yet their body is saying, hey, let me let something out for a purpose.
Mm, yeah. Makes sense. You said this in your article, and I'm going to quote it. Without emotional intelligence, one can never truly experience wholeness as a person. Say more about that.
Yeah. Well, if we define emotional intelligence, which maybe I could have done more in my article, but was lengthy enough already, emotional intelligence is defined as the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions, right? So
Mm,
those are all pretty important things. We want to be able to use our emotions, to understand them, and we definitely want to manage and handle them, right? Most importantly, probably
yeah.
for some people watching this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
You're like,
so,
okay, managing and handling. I'm going to get a grip on that.
right, got it. But if we don't even know what they are and understand them, how do we know how to manage and handle them? So having
Mm,
emotional intelligence really allows us, it's a whole package deal. We can't really do one without the other within that definition. And so being able to live a really full, healthy life that's a little bit more free means you probably should be building emotional intelligence in your life as much as we focus on all the other types of intelligence we want to build.
yeah. And all the other types of health that we want to build,
Right.
like a holistic
Yes.
system, because that's how God wired the body. And I love that you gave examples in scripture of all the different emotions that God experiences. Because I think sometimes we're like, well, God's all this or he's all this, and we put him in, maybe we put him in a little bit of a box, but you were like, this is where it's here and this is where it's here and you even mentioned anger, which I feel like always gets a bad rap. So folks can read that in the article for more information, but I loved that because it felt so centering to me to be like, oh, God gave me these and it's actually part of being his image bearer, which feels kind of sweet and makes it feel worth risking the challenge of digging into those emotions.
So true. I love that, Cassie. And I don't say any of those things lightly. People might not know about me, but I grew up um, only daughter of a family, oldest child, definitely a peacekeeper. I learned my role as therapist early on in life, and I'm grateful for that. But anger was definitely
Yeah.
one that I don't say this lightly. I grew up with a really weird relationship around anger, and that was my least favorite emotion. Probably at times still is a hard one for me. And so when God
Yeah.
gave me that personal revelation in my own life and work of, hey, Jesus flipped some tables too, right? Jesus set boundaries, right? Like that, when God gave me that realization, that revelation for me, I realized I didn't have to suppress and be so overwhelmed by that emotion of anger in others or in myself. And that just has
Yeah.
given me personally so much freedom. So I don't teach this because it sounds like a good thing. I teach this also because of
Yeah.
my own walk and experience in all those emotions. And it's so life-giving when I can look at one of my clients and remind them of that. Like, hey, did Jesus sin when he flipped that table? Like, let's kind of
Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
this. Let's go
Yeah.
back to scripture. Let's talk to God about it. And so I love that we can maybe encourage other people. If this interests them, definitely go check out that part of the article because there's a lot packed in there on
Yeah.
biblical emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. And to bring, around another aspect of the maybe like the theology or the biblicalness of emotions, talking just about the creation. of emotions in our body. And you talked about God giving us the sensation of hunger to show that we need food. And then you were like, maybe he also gave us emotions to show that we had needs. Our feelings can represent needs. And I just want to read this. How ironic that people want to be told how to make wise decisions and given clarity around their challenges, and yet they resist using the very toolkit that God hardwired into their soul to achieve this.
Mhm. Right? It's right under our noses.
Yeah, it's right under our noses. And one thing that stuck with me so much about reading this article is that emotions can feel so inconvenient.
Mhm.
And so I have to hold, like, I have to keep, it's okay that they feel inconvenient. Like, that's not bad or wrong. That's actually just part of it. And it's this opportunity when emotions come up to increase my emotional intelligence about myself and about my experience. And it's worth the grappling.
Yes, yes, that there's a story underneath all of that struggle and all of those experiences. And when we can lean into those stories and learn more about them and know what to do with them, it maybe offers a lot of other paths in our life and opportunities, but they're so worth it. They're life-giving at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, so true. I
Mm,
love it. So, what are some of the benefits of working hard to increase my emotional intelligence?
yes. So being able to have good emotional intelligence, aka be in tune with yourself, don't suppress your feelings, welcome them into your life. They
Mm,
are part of you. Right. Well, one, just being more aware is really nice. We like to seek out knowledge. We like to advance. We like to do
yeah.
things. Most people hate the unknown. So by
Mm,
working on this area and embracing it a little bit more, it helps you take away a big question mark in your own life. And so there's less unknown for you. Additionally,
that feels
when
happy.
right, I think so. I think so too. Additionally, it's just better for our body because we're able to regulate ourselves
Mm,
more clear, like more effectively. And when we can
yeah.
regulate ourselves, right, going back to that definition, we can handle and manage our emotions and our needs. Um,
Yeah.
that means that we're going to have less stress impacts from time to time, and that's less cortisol. If anyone knows what cortisol is, going to try not to be a nerdy scientist here, but cortisol is the stress hormone. It's the thing that we don't like. It filters around our bellies. It adds weight, it adds stress, headaches, problems, keeps our body from
Yeah.
functioning its best. So the more we can manage and regulate ourselves, the less cortisol is released in our body, and the more we can function as a well-oiled machine that we're intended to be. So that's a physical benefit there as well. But we can also be more bonded and connected to others in our life,
Mm,
to ourselves and others. And even if you're that person watching that says, I would love to just be on an island all by myself, scientists, social
yes.
psychologists have found that even those people will want to find their way back to the grocery store or something to connect with someone. So we are all
Yeah.
designed and created for connection. And the more aware we are of our heart, our motives, our needs, our feelings, the more we can connect clearly with other people. And another benefit is having more appropriate boundaries for those relationships.
Mm,
Instead of fearing relationships
yeah.
and fearing things in life, we can be more clear
Yeah.
about what kind of boundaries we need so that we can do that well. So you see how all of these benefits are kind of going hand in hand. And so I know
Yeah.
I could probably go on, but those are just a few of what I wrote about and what I think are important. Well, I guess I should add this. We are Christian counselors, whether a believer is watching today or any person out there. It helps us also
Yeah.
get in tune with ourselves and God, right? We can pray more clearly. We can
Yeah.
share those parts of our heart and our passions. We can pursue our dreams more effectively. So again, I should cut it short there, but I could go on about all of the benefits that being in tune with this part of your life and body would provide a person.
Yeah. I'm so with you in that because as I learn about myself and my emotions and do the hard work of
Mm.
allowing those inconvenient, uncomfortable things to, you know, for me to get curious about them and engage them. Um, I had a counselor that came alongside me and helped me do that. And now I'm able to do it better for myself. And I still do it with you and in relationship with others because that helps me see myself more clearly and accurately as God sees me. But it's like you get addicted to the the growth and just the peace and the deeper connections that
Mm.
you can engage.
Yeah, I love that. And you pointed out something really good there, Cassie, that relationship or things in life can be hard, right? Knowing your emotions and being more connected and using them as the data that God is giving them to us for. Like, it doesn't make life simple and easy and carefree,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to put that disclaimer out there.
Yeah.
But even in the face of
Yes.
hard things and relationships and dreams that we desire to achieve, like when we have more clarity and confidence about an easy or a hard
Mhm.
thing, it makes it better. It makes it more approachable.
Yeah.
And so I don't know who wouldn't want that, right? Not just more connection in life
Yeah.
with people and themselves, but to say, I can go into something hard. I can trust and have confidence and clarity about the hard decision I'm about to make. And that peace of mind, that lightness that we might feel in our body as we go into that thing like
Mm.
that could be another amazing benefit that most people would desire.
Yeah. Game changer.
Right.
Mhm. So, what's the first step? If somebody has read this article or watched this video and they're like, okay, you've convinced me I should
Mhm.
allow my emotions in a little bit more, like, what what do they do first? How do they get there?
Find my page on MyCounselor.Online and sign up. I want to see you. Just kidding. Actually, I do.
I know, right?
Shameless plug. Shameless. No, first thing, it's never a bad idea to find a counselor or a coach or a mentor, someone in this area who can, I'm going to say a cheesy word, my military husband laughs at me, but someone who can journey alongside you in this, right? This is,
Yeah.
you are learning something new. And when we went through school, we never did it alone. We had a teacher to lead and guide us, right?
Yeah.
So there's no shame in seeking someone's help of just saying, I want to know myself better. I want to understand how to manage my feelings more clearly and appropriately. So that's one wonderful benefit that I am a counselor. How am I not going to say that first? Right.
Yeah.
But for anyone who's already with a counselor and needs some extra help, or who's not sure they're ready for that step yet, my first tip would be let's start broadening your vocabulary, right? If this is brand new for you,
Mm.
I would say get on Google, right? You can find anything on Google. So get on Google,
Yes.
do some reading, find the definitions of emotions, find a feeling chart. You will not be at a loss for finding feeling charts on the internet.
Yes.
Whether it's emojis or charts, color coordinated items, print it out, put it somewhere, screenshot it on your phone, save it as your wallpaper. Like broaden
Yes.
your vocabulary so that you know what is this thing that everyone keeps telling me I should or shouldn't feel, right? You've got to start there with understanding.
Yeah.
Um, I love it. The book of Proverbs is full of things that say, get wisdom, get understanding, right? And so seeking
Mm.
that out, broadening your vocabulary, printing out tools and resources, educate yourself on the very definition of an emotion if you're not quite sure if you even feel that at times, because you can't
Yeah.
grow in something if you don't even understand what it is. So that would be my first step, I would say.
That's
So,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Secondly,
I love that.
oh, didn't want to cut you off there. Any other questions or thoughts on broadening our vocabulary of emotions?
Oh no. I I just feel excited about that. I'm like, that's a great idea.
It's pretty applicable, I think, right?
Yes, and easy. Like
Mhm.
such an easy first step, so attainable.
Yes. So I would say step number 2, start putting it to practice. Print out a feelings log, get a journal, find a person or a friend or a place that you can start to practice the expression of those feelings and try it on for size. I say journals and logs and things because they're a little bit more private, right? People don't have
Yeah.
to feel judged there. And then
Yeah.
you kind of branch out when you're ready to start expressing that with other people. Maybe look for others who can validate. Like last time I, went through this experience, I think I felt this emotion. Anybody else with me?
Yeah.
Right? And let other people validate and share that so that you feel less alone. And then you're a little bit more comfortable, not only feeling the things you feel, right? And more confident,
Yes.
but also connecting, right? Twofold benefit.
Yes.
And then as you do that, you can share, pray about it, continue to educate, get books that are about your emotions. One of my favorite ones this past year has been The Voice of the Heart by Chip Dodd.
Okay.
In fact, one of my male clients told me about this book. I had never heard of it before. I can't even remember which client this was. So shout out to you if you're the one who told me. It's a life-changing book on
Yeah.
practical ways that we understand emotions and how they are the language of our heart. They help to
Mm.
expose things and connect us. And yeah, I can't say enough about that book. Also, Diana Fosha is one of the greats. She is the founder of what we call AEDP therapy, and she also paved the way for understanding our nervous systems and our feelings and how they move us to action. So, another step that you could do is read, get podcasts, get Audible, find
Hmm.
other people who are skilled in this area and just drink from their knowledge and then absorb it and apply it in your own life. And if you do
Yeah.
those things and then you want to grow a little more, me and my fellow counselors at MyCounselor.Online are here. We are trained to bridge the gap, right? We're all on Zoom, so we
Yeah.
bridge the gap. We're trained in noticing body language and feelings and connecting that to
Mm.
the words that you're cognitively sharing. So if you're afraid of, what it would be like to talk to a counselor, this is our thing. This is what we love to do, that we're called to do. We can help make that natural and do it with you. So those are my many, not a short list, my many tips on those who hear this video or read this article and feel intrigued. And so I hope that
Mm.
that's helpful to you and the viewers.
Yeah. So helpful. So practical, which I love. As you were talking about uh, sharing our emotions with another person, I was just thinking how risky that feels, but how tremendous the reward is
Yeah,
when we get validated in that way.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, here I am talking about expanding your vocabulary, but the word that comes to mind is it's so nice. Right? It's so
Yes,
nice.
yes, so nice. And that is, you know, so succinct and yet so encompassing. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me and doing this interview with me and talking about your article and for writing it. And I'll see you in the next one.
Awesome. It was a pleasure to do it. I loved it. Can't wait for the next time, Cassie.